Kenya lies along the equator in Central Africa on the coast of the Indian Ocean. Kenya gained their independence from Great Britain in 1963. Climate change and droughts in Kenya have hindered economic growth and has led to the loss of 30,000 jobs in the agricultural industry. Due to the large droughts, developed countries have been sending aid to Kenya to feed their people. However, the corrupt political leaders are using foreign aid for personal use. As a result, 40% of the workforce is out of work, and the overall poverty rate sits at 43%. One answer to the corruption occurring in Kenya is to educate the people of Kenya, and that is what our foundation plans to do. With our budget of $1 billion, we will use 20% for education, 50% for healthcare, and 30% for infrastructure. Roughly 40% of the population in Kenya is below the age of 14, with the median age being 19 years. The youth population is the future of Kenya, but they can only succeed if they are well educated. The country currently has a total literacy rate of 78%, while 75% of women are literate and 81% of men are literate. To increase the average school expectancy of 11 years, in 2003, Kenya passed the Free Primary Education Act, which allowed for free primary education for every child, regardless of age, if they can walk to a school next to where they live. The Kenyan government allocated 5.4 billion Kenyan shillings from its budget to provide proper learning materials and teachers' salaries. This act increased enrollment in primary schools by 1.4 million students in just 5 months. Although this sounds positive, there are still fees that come with this free education. Also, since there was an increase of 1.4 million enrolled students, and not a comparative increase in schools built, there is overcrowding in classrooms. With so many students, there is a huge dependency on teachers. However, in most cases, teachers are not well educated and are absent. To add to the lack of attention to individual students, nationally there are 14 students per textbook. Since public schools are declining, families in Kenya who earn less than $1 a day are forced to send their children to low-fee private schools, which cost between $1,500 and $3,000 to ensure a decent education. The primary school net attendance for males and females is 72.4% and 75% respectively. This decreases significantly when children transition to secondary school, where only 39.5% of males and 41.6% of females attend. To improve Kenya's education system, we will expand the network of Kenyan schools known as the Kennet Network. We will implement an incentivized teaching program to expand education to understaffed areas. This will combat the problem seen here, with too many students per each teacher. College graduates will be placed in a 6-month training program, then assigned to teach in a school for 2 years. Teachers will be paid a competitive salary using our budgeted money to complete this program. This will incentivize more graduates to become teachers and gain experience in the field, and some of them may stay in the understaffed areas after their 2-year contract is up. With issues in Kenya, including extremely low life expectancies at just 64 years old, and extremely high risk of infectious diseases such as HIV/AIDS, malaria, and hepatitis. Kenya has the 4th largest HIV rate in the world, with 1.6 million affected in 2013, which accounts for 16% of the country's deaths. These diseases are spread rapidly in areas with poor sanitation, and unfortunately this leads to a high prevalence of disease in Kenya. Also, in 2013, there were only 0.2 physicians per 1,000 Kenyans. According to the World Factbook, there are only 1.4 hospital beds per 1,000 Kenyans. In order to combat this, our program plans to build clinics, subsidize healthcare, and train women to be midwives and nurses. KIP wants to build small clinics rather than hospitals in order to make more of them and to make them more accessible to people all over the country. We plan to use Kenyan materials and have the clinics built by Kenyan workers so that they can upkeep the clinics with the correct materials in the near future. The workers will be paid in order to build these clinics, and using Kenyan materials will ensure that these clinics do not get run down due to a lack of the correct materials. The workers in these clinics will be the doctors and assistants that were trained using our education program, and women will be able to go through vocational training once they finish their education careers in order to become medically trained as midwives and nurses. This will aid us in decreasing the fertility rate among women as well as giving them more opportunities to further their education and opportunities. Another goal for KIP is to subsidize healthcare. Having more clinics around is not helpful if the services provided are still unattainable due to their high costs. Therefore, we plan to use some of our budget to provide services such as free family planning, including condoms, as well as free vaccinations for diseases such as hepatitis and the flu. We will also provide basic checkups that will serve as preventative care in case somebody contracts something. This way, we can catch an issue before it escalates or even leads to death. The healthcare portion of our mission not only provides opportunity for families who may not have access to proper healthcare, but it also provides opportunities for people to take advantage of the education they receive through the education portion of our mission. We at KIP have high hopes that our goals to improve the lives of Kenyans through education and healthcare will be successful.